You are listening to WXRW Milwaukee. You are listening to WXRWLP Milwaukee on 104.1 FM and on riverwestradio.com everywhere. Now you can also listen by telling your smart speaker to play Riverwest Radio. Support for this program comes from Collectivo Coffee and Troubadour Bakery, makers of artisan breads and scratch-baked goodies. Visitors to Collectivo's Bayview Cafe can look in on Troubadour Bakers as they prepare breads and cafe favorites daily. More info is at collectivocoffee.com. It's Cinema Fireside. Thanks for listening. We have a lot of activity up on stage. We have special guests, musical guests, Vision Explorer, and we also have Gabe calling in. These cats are from Michigan, and we'll be speaking with them shortly. Listeners, thanks for listening in. For sure, if you are listening live, it is a moderate evening here in Milwaukee. It seems like the sun has disappeared. I think the sun is starting to go down a little bit earlier. So there you have it. It's been a wild weekend. Obviously, psychological tapestry and all that stuff. I'm just looking out the window here. And let's see. Yes, cool. Yes. What does yes mean? It means something. So I hope everyone is well out in Radioland. We were filming the last couple days, and while we were filming this video, these guys were getting set up, I made sure to film for the experimental film project. There were some killer cloud formations. The Twitter account is @MoreTheScarier and means I am listening. Great. Thank you a million. I appreciate that. Killer cloud formations. There's super cumulus clouds going on these last couple days, and that's where they rise magnificently. They're really magisterial castles in the sky, and just in filming, it just looks just so magnificent. And it's incredible. And see, that's the thing of it, is that you can live life in the interstices. That means, how during downtime or setup time and that, it's great to engage in small talk and socializing in that. But the go-getters, the auteurs, the ones with the singular vision, they're always kind of doing their own thing during those, interstices, those voids in the actual production where they themselves are fulfilling and strengthening their own destiny. So it's when you have that time, you can write, you can film, and then you get to it, and so on and so forth. So we had the River West 24 this weekend too. Gabe, thanks for calling in, my man. And it's a bike race that lasts from 7 o'clock on Friday evening to 7 o'clock Saturday evening. It goes for 24 hours. People camp out in the parks and along the street, or hang out on their porches along the street. And it's just a real great community time. And then the gathering at the beginning and end was toward the high dive on Pierce and Center. And there's, plenty of bands. And we actually had some food as well. Dan and Tim brought in beef brisket, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, and then we had some nice time working at the coffee shop on Humboldt. I haven't been there for a while. We sat out on the patio, which is right on the bike route, and just typing in the projects and all that stuff. Actually, we're doing a short project. I should get the script printed up here. It's just a couple pages, but we'll have it out there for you sooner than later, among many other things. So yeah, film-wise, what are the last things that I've seen? Probably what I've already said, which is Saturday Night Fever, and what else? Night of the Hunter. Saw that again. Robert Mitchum. Kind of reminds me of Cape Fear. And then there's the remake by Scorsese as well. And Joe Steiner, when he was leaving, he pointed out he really liked Night of the Hunter, so I watched that in his honor for sure. Then There's another film too. I can't just put my finger on what that. Oh yeah, Jim Jarmusch's Night on Earth. So that was Jarmusch is always he's consistent in his output. He's a fun guy, and I believe now I've seen all of his films. I think Night on Earth may have been the last one. Also, I was reading Marina Abramovic's memoir, Walk Through Walls, and getting close to the end of that. And I may pick up her biography to see what the counter statement is. But yeah, I mean, when you're reading these books, these particular books, she is an artist, obviously extremely dedicated to her craft. She had a pretty horrible formative experience, and that was reflected in her work with self-injury and all of that kind of stuff. And the particular trajectory continued in that fashion. What you experience is sometimes the path that you follow. But if you know that it's not right, then you have to take, and usually painful steps, because to change one's psychology that's been indentured to a particular tract for years, if not decades, just try to make thousands of these incremental changes, and it's like, whoa, man, this is fairly intense. Obviously, it can be done, and you keep at it. And what's also interesting in reading this memoir is her relationships, and then how did you absorb that? How does that affect you? How do you reflect on your situation, so on and so forth? And it's just like this real porous situation where this stuff just seeps into you. And there's a lot of people, man, when you're looking at them, unbeknownst to you, they're like in a little boat out on in the middle of a tumultuous sea that's got holes in it, and they unbeknownst to you as you're speaking with them, they've got a pail and they're just bailing out water constantly just to stay afloat. And if they would stop countering their psychology, they would sink in the middle of this infinite sea. So yes, it's pretty wild, and you gotta roll with the tapestry. And when you're involved in particular situations, that can really really rock the boat, so to speak, and you just gotta deal with it on a daily basis. And when you come out of it, it's like almost drowning and coming up for air, and you're just, I can't believe it's so great to be connected again. So you never know what a person's thinking, what a person is going through, and so on and so forth. And one of the ways to communicate is, in the action or the non-action that you take. And one of the choices made is just not to deal with the phone, not to deal with any idle conversations, because that's your time that you can make up for betrayed years. So that's your form of communication. Life is fascinating. Also reading. Oh, it was a great experience. I got my guys here from Vision Explorer, and I don't know who that's for, but my man's bringing in like a big-ass casserole. Just let you know, as an aside, Sarah Lou, that looks great. But anyway, so I was with the boys in the band, Vision Explorer, and we were coming back from filming, and we had Sunday night radio dramas on, and of all things, it was an adaptation of Fitzgerald's This Side of Paradise, which is the next Fitzgerald to be read. So it was a trip with these guys, listening to it as a radio drama. So that was a kind of a cool way to spend a Sunday night drive, for sure. So anyway, I think that I'm going to start handing things over to Gabe and Ben and Michael and all of that stuff. And maybe I'll, if I feel like it, break in. I'm not going to get trampled on, but I do like to listen to these cats conversate. Thanks, baby, for listening. I'm seeing it all here. Thank you. So, yeah. Okay. great. And thanks everyone for listening. Gabe, my man, are you ready to roll? This is a heads up. Hello, Gabe.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Dude is ready. We're turning you down a little bit. So, Gabe, how are you? And then Ben and Michael, I'm going to get to you in a moment. I'm going to see how Gabe's doing. How are you doing, Gabe?
Mark, I'm doing exquisite. You know, some days you just got to take care of 15 things that even bleed over into the time that you're on the air, which is, you know, for the most part, I'm always in this very straightforward, meditative, and still getting something done. But usually I'm parked at the laundromat, in the car, staring out at this nice expanse of commerce. There's like 3 parking lots that are all adjoined. There's like 4 restaurants and like 5 other businesses, and there's just people walking their dogs and people just going about their business. And I just didn't quite get everything finished in time to get to the usual round of errands that I usually have done around that time. But you know what? My mind's in a good place. My heart's in a good place. Scooter, come here. My dog, who we just...
Classic name for a dog.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Who we just gave a haircut to, just leapt out the door. But I grabbed them, so everything's cool. But, you know, some days you're behind on this and that, and you know what? It's just fine. You know, you just can't panic. And sometimes the panic just sneaks up on you out of nowhere. But anyway, film-related. I went to go see Sorry to Bother You.
Hey man, I know I read about it. I'm so down with it. I just got to get to the theater to see it. So I know you wanted me to see it, and I will see it. But that you've seen it, now we are going to hear your gracious outpouring.
Well, what I'm going to do, Mark, is that I'm going to wait to see if you can.
You're a saint.
I'm going to wait to see if you can bounce to the theater because
it's still out, my man, right?
I don't know what the situation is near you in Milwaukee. I can't speak for the Downer or any other AMC theaters near you. So, you know, it is a smaller film. It's a quasi-independent film. I mean, it looks the part, it plays the part, and I know it was distributed as the part. So I don't imagine that it's not like I mean, even these like micro blockbusters.
It's playing in Milwaukee at all of these.
Well, then it should be around probably at least places. For another week or another 2 weeks. So, because I know it's been making good money for the size of film that it is.
Yeah.
Which I'm very happy to hear. And you know, I go into a film like that with a certain amount of reasonable disappointments and reasonable expectations, hopes and failures.
Yeah, and before you get to that, just to conclude, where it's in Milwaukee. It's like way down on the south side, or way way on the mega west side, western regions of Milwaukee, which is like going to another land. And but actually, I'm not a night bird, dude. So to see it during the day, it's probably even closer to get way down to the south side, because that out west like that. That's out going to the western end of Milwaukee. That's like, man, like Columbus sailing on the sea or something like that, man. That's a trip.
But it is very much so worth the time. You know, and there's relative things about it that walking into it, I knew that there were certain limitations and a certain narrative style that, you know, gets a little grating at times, or gets a little one-dimensional in its own way. But man, just the enjoyment factor of, if I'm going to watch something that is purely and unabashedly a work of entertainment, this is the kind of like unabashed entertainment that I want to subject myself to, something that's at least full of bizarre asides and just ridiculous ideas, and at least has the audacity to state that these narrative devices are obviously devices. I mean, compared to a lot of the stuff that I sit through, just because it's semi-well-reviewed contemporary film. And, you know, I've even, in the last year, not even allowed myself to watch the stuff that I would say falls into the mid category of like just the semi-well-reviewed stuff, or even stuff that falls into the bad category, with obvious exceptions like Rampage and handfuls of other blockbuster Hollywood films, just to keep my thumb on the pulse of that average sort of zeitgeist consensus. But man, there's just times where even stuff like that, just the formula of it grates, and my time, everyone's time is valuable. And I just think that, in terms of music, literature, and films, you should always watch stuff with discretion. And I think it's important that if you care about what goes into your mind, just like if you care about what kind of food goes into your body, operating with a sense of adventure, and also, that, like I said, a sense of discretion. Trying new things is always really important. For me, it's extremely important. I will watch, I'd say 9 out of 10 films that I watch are about subjects that I don't care about, things I'm not particularly interested in. But out of a sense of duty to the film critics and the film writers and sort of film culture as a whole, I go into stuff that I've read generally good consensus about, in hopes that I'm taken to a place that I'm not already at. I'm taken out of myself. I'm shown something that isn't about me, that isn't about my world, that isn't about my need for control in my life. And that's the one great change in the way I watch cinema from the way I used to, whereas everything used to be in this sort of linear, like I'd pick a filmmaker, I'd pick an era, or I'd pick a country, and I would just obsess over it. And now it's like it's not about my control. I'm more about like, well, okay, what is the culture deem, or what is the larger picture here? So sometimes even like something like going to see a movie or watching these movies, it's just like with a sense of duty rather than a sense of urgency or entertainment. But man, when you get those like releases where you're not tense through the whole film, where you're not just like having to procedurally go through it because it's either like such a stodgy, stiff art film, or it's such a pretentious work of just one-dimensional crap, or it's just a bad film, or the film is just not jiving or working with you, and you're allowed to, to not be insulted, but you're also fully engaged. That's just a cool little treat. But at the same time, I felt like it was a real minor film. So, Mark, if you do get the time to go see it, I would love to discuss it with you, because it is. I feel like there's minor and major elements to it.
Okay.
But I feel like it's not a film that anyone will be discussing in 4 or 5 or 10 years.
Interesting.
But yeah, but I also feel like there is something really hilariously non sequitur about the film, but that also makes a cohesive statement that's fun and alarming at the same time.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, these guys that we have, Gabe, they can.
Yep.
Oh man, my man is totally hammered out on the street. Okay, so these guys, oh yeah, man. They did like one night time I was coming home that night. They told a dude that they were coming out of the bar saying, "Hey man, you got to stop banging on that sign." Yeah, he's out there now. As long as he doesn't get hit. So Gabe, these dudes these guys know cinema. I'm turning up your mics. Gabe, I wanted to introduce Michael and Ben to you. You guys are on.
Hey, hello.
Hey,
how are you there?
Hey, excellent. Good stuff. Great to have you on the show. Mark has already spoken very highly of you guys to me on a personal level, and invited you on the show. So I'm always happy to have guests and people interested in, whether it be literature, music, and film. Because this Joe Steinberg, the guy that we had on the show last week, really eloquently just he runs a record label, and he was just talking about how he's always watching films, he's always engaged with music. And there really isn't a difference for him. He's always doing something. Like there's always a story or a medium or a means of taking in and creating at the same time.
I think it's a beautiful thing, really a reflection of the human condition, whatever the art might be, but especially with film. We actually see humans interacting, and whether it's fictional or not, I always gain something tremendous about the human condition by observing that. I'm entertained, and I might laugh and cry and do all the emotions in between, but I'm with you there. And I tell you what, you bring up Sorry to Bother You, and I actually do think people will be talking about it for years to come, but all I can say is a horse of a different color.
Did you see it, my man?
I don't want to talk about it anymore because Mark hasn't seen it.
Wait, no, dude. That's immaterial. I understand about it. I read about it. I read the New York Times, Film Comment, etc.
Sure.
Michael, did you see it?
I have.
Bless us with your take.
Yeah.
Please do. Yes.
So I thought it was a really good commentary on how life is right now, with things being so fast-paced, communication everywhere, being able to reach people, and then this corporate world where things are just kind of shoved down your face and throat, and you almost have to accept what's being given to you without any explanation. And without giving this twist away, I thought it was very creative. I was taken by surprise, and at first I thought it was not going to like where the film was going, but I really feel that the film tied together the idea that we can all be creative and stand up for something that we believe in, and not just conform to whether it's society or some supposed norm that's being put upon us, and work together for a common goal. So
Wow,
I enjoyed
magnificently put. Zav, have a great night. Thanks for helping set up, too. What's
Sorry
that
to
one? I'm
bother
sorry
you.
to bother you.
it.
Yeah, we recommend you see it, Zav. Hey, don't
Who
run
of the
over your
two-
man out there.
Who of the two was just speaking?
What's that, Gabe?
Who was just
That was
offering
Michael.
commentary?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just didn't know which was which. Who was who?
Oh, dude's got another beer ready to roll.
Okay.
Unreal.
Yeah, I saw him running,
So-
trying to pick up his pants. He was falling down over the street.
He can hear
I-
everything, but he ain't going to remember it, so it's all good.
Yeah. So coming fresh out of the film, I just saw it this afternoon. I really like your assessment of it, and I like your take on it, because I think that there's a lot of truth in the film, and I think that there's something that spoke to me on a personal level, and I think that the film will react with people differently. I think not because it's overtly political. It's a socially conscious film,
Right.
that I think is going to strike. It's definitely a film that, depending on whether you're black or white or of a different racial persuasion, it will have a different. And depending, I guess, on what your take is within those those races, I guess, depending on how you look at yourself and how you look at other people of other races, the film could definitely strike you as extremely playful and very necessary. And some people will be offended by this film,
That's right.
and I think that that's absolutely in the best possible sense, because it's a film that I think the type of offensiveness that was, I think, common and looked at more as just humor in the 1960s and 70s, like stuff that Mel Brooks was doing that you could never do today.
Right.
Like if you look at like the producers, Blazing Saddles, and even just a lot of common humor that was on television is stuff that you could never do on TV or in movies or maybe in music and literature, but for the most part, you couldn't get away with it on that mass culture the way that you were 40, 50 years ago. And I just found it really refreshing with how straightforward most of the humor is, and how unabashedly, completely surrealistically absurd a lot of these gags and jokes are, but they're told totally straight-faced, and they're shown right to the camera, and everything is shot in this very, 90 degrees, very rectangular, very, almost like Wes Anderson, and I don't want to compare his work or the work of the cinematographer to Wes Anderson, but it has this very symmetrical, very well-composed, very angular, very 90-degreed, very rule of thirds, very even composition. And even when they angle out of that, everything is meant to be directed right to the viewer, so the viewer can absorb as much or as little as the viewer wants. And I just think that there's so much humor in the film that I never felt like I was being told what to think, because there's a lot of directions that the viewer could go with this film. And the fact that it is so playfully absurd while also being very, very earnest, it almost veers on sentimental at times, but it very, very wisely never veers too far into that. It never gets too emotional. And it offers a kind of distance from some of the characters, which I thought was, I don't know if that was intentional, but it works better for the film in the end, because it doesn't feel heavy-handed, it doesn't feel preachy, it doesn't feel didactic. And I think its message, its core message, as much as it does feel a little obvious, and I think for anyone that sort of has like a punk rock, do-it-yourself, don't trust authority kind of ethos to their own beliefs, I think a lot of the message of the film will feel kind of obvious, but I don't think it makes it any less important or any less shocking at times.
Well, I think that's
really,
I think
I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, I think that's well put, Gabe. And Ben, your affinity with David Lynch, man, you dig him. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can put that mic up to you. Don't get on. Yeah, make yourself comfortable, my man.
Cool.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, I've liked David Lynch since I watched Twin Peaks. Obviously not a movie, but that's what turned me onto his work in the first place. And I'd say Mulholland Drive and what's the other one? Lost Highway. Those are probably my two favorite of his films.
And he has a new book out that's part biography written by someone else and part memoir written by him. Does that something like that pique your interest?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know. I've watched a bunch of his lectures on different subjects about transcendental meditation, other things of that sort, and I don't know. I love the guy's mind and where he takes you on these weird psychedelic tripped out journeys.
Catching the Big Fish is a really interesting book.
Oh, that's
I bought.
Yeah. Well, how much did you pay for that, dude?
I bought it for my mom for her birthday a number of years ago. My mom is has been a lifelong student of transcendental meditation, and she is not a fan of David Lynch's work. She's seen many of his films. She's tried to watch Twin Peaks. I'm talking over a 40-year period. She has consistently tried to digest David Lynch, and it just doesn't work for her. And I totally get why it does, because it doesn't. My mom is not a morbid person, and she doesn't get into weird just for the sake of weird, even though his stuff works on a much more serene and cerebral and primal subconscious level. And my mom's was a psychotherapist for like 20 years. So the fact that even though his stuff works on this real primordial, almost reptilian brain level, she just is like, well, that's great. I still don't like it. But I bought her that book, and she was like, this is the first thing that has David Lynch's name on it that I think is actually truly profound and important, necessary, and I'm going to keep this. Like, I'm actually going to add this to my collection of what I think is important, texts on spirituality and human development.
Yeah,
it's in her library to this day. Yeah,
I got that book in pristine condition for $1 at the Whitefish Bay Library Book Nook, and I read it from cover to cover. So that's my story, and I've seen all of his films, and I don't like I appreciate him from a distance. It's not like I'm into Polanski and Herzog and Fassbinder and all of that kind. That's what I'm into, but I appreciate him from a distance. So the one film you have to see, Ben, is
Elephant Man. That's
correct.
The one of his that I've not seen yet.
And you've seen it, Michael.
Yes, sir.
And you would definitely recommend it to our man?
Yes. Black and white, excellent cinematography, incredible angles, and just a precursor to those other Lynch films that you mentioned.
Awesome.
And then, of course, the Twin Peaks series.
I'll definitely have to watch that when we get back to Michigan in a couple days.
It did lose the Academy Award that year for Best Picture to Ordinary People,
80.
Robert Redford's directorial debut. Next time you're on Final Jeopardy.
Which is amazing, because what would have made more sense to win would have been Raging Bull, which Ordinary People's is odd. The previous year, 79, was another domestic.
Kramer versus Kramer.
Exactly, Kramer versus Kramer. So that was it's odd that those two consecutive years would have the same domestic quality to it. So yeah.
Well, the rise of divorce, I think in America, the rise of the fracture of the post Watergate society, where you start to see really what's happening underneath the veil and the illusion of Reagan America is really the fracturing of that illusion. But that umbrella maintaining its veneer and saying, no, that isn't happening. No, that isn't happening. And one thing that's kind of cool about the rise of that low to mid budget Hollywood film about middle class working people with average ordinary problems, which some film critics have attested that was sort of the end of the great era of American art film. Was the 70s was the rise of it, and then the domestic drama brings in the end of that art movement, where middle class film goers start to watch films about themselves, and that's the insertion of the Reagan era narcissism in film, and that's where like the blandness of Hollywood cinema and the rise of the blockbuster comes in. And I don't necessarily know that all that's true. I wasn't alive during most of that period, and I wasn't watching films at the time. And what I do know about films at that time is all in retrospect, what I've chosen to watch, what I've chosen to seek out. So that's one perspective. But I do think it's interesting that Ordinary People and Kramer versus Kramer, which are essentially like really well shot and famous and beautiful people loaded made-for-TV movies, like the best made-for-TV movies, but essentially made-for-TV movies that are done in this very prestigious, very more like high-class theater productions. I mean, Robert Benton's Kramer versus Kramer has just a great, almost a lack of editing, and its pacing is just incredibly fluid. It's a film that I've seen twice, and that still kind of baffles me as to why it works so good and why I like it as much as I do. I don't necessarily think that it's a film that everyone should like. I don't think it's like this like masterpiece that should be defended like Apocalypse Now or Taxi Driver. But I never cease to marvel at how a film like that functions. But also, in the retrospective of time, like 76, Rocky wins Best Picture over All the President's Men. I mean,
yeah, you're absolutely right. But I think
Network,
and exactly,
Yep.
Network and Bound
Yep,
for Glory,
absolutely.
And I also would say too, what we should do is a musical interlude. But I do want to say, and I will turn up your synthesizer. So it was really cool filming with you guys the last couple days, and one of the things is it's an act of symbiosis where you have the vision. We work to enact that vision, and we dudes, man, how are you doing?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Doing really good.
And you're from Michigan.
Not wearing gorilla suits right now.
Yeah, these guys were wearing suits and sweating like heck.
I was on a public beach yesterday in a one of those ghillie suits. So the theme for our music video was transformation, and it was a transformation of like a monster and Bigfoot. So it starts with a green costume, and then I spent whole night before we came out here on a Thursday spray painting with fabric paint this white ghillie suit in all sorts of psychedelic wild colors.
I didn't know it was actually white to begin with.
Yeah, that was white
Wow.
originally. And
You did a great job.
thanks, man.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And then I ended up yesterday filming with Mark on a crowded public beach, and everyone was staring like, what the heck is going on? But it was fun.
Hey, do you know why? Actually, do you know why we were on that beach? Do you know why? Even though, before I say, I just want you guys admit that those were the right locations and everything worked out, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Right, and you were very pleased, right?
Yeah.
The reason being, I ended up at all of those locations was to keep escaping this reaction to melancholy, to solitude, anxiety. I wanted to get away from where I lived. That's why we avoided those. We didn't go to those woods like I first proposed, and we went to those other things. And there's one person who understands why all of this stuff is going on. So that's everywhere I go physically is for that, usually for that reason. I knew it was in the best interest of the video, which you agree worked out.
Absolutely.
But there were reasons that I had to get away from myself and my thinking. That's interesting, and get to those other locations. So there was like mega subtext going on at that point, and someone's aware of that. So, but it all worked out, correct? So yeah, we were in the middle of beach blanket bingo. It made the beachgoers happy because it was like, man, okay, and it all works out. But yeah, I just wanted that all of those moves, all of those things are actually motivated by something else, but it's still in noble servitude to the project at hand.
Always.
It's like dude's just thinking, come here to shoot some monster in the woods, and next thing he knows, he's in the middle of beach blanket bingo.
And we had a lot of fun at cello.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Michael is. These guys, their lives are not mysterious to them. They're mysterious to me because these guys have dedicated their life to their art, to their craft, and they've succeeded in it. And it's not like these bozos who that are literally their lives are just up in flames in the sense of just the worst non-direction possible. There's nothing wrong with that, but there becomes something wrong with that when it's influences. It's not going to influence you, but you come into, it's like going into a bad neighborhood. You need to avoid it, and there's a reason why you're with people, and there's a reason why you're not with other people. But guys like this, man, if I would have spent my time with guys like this, it would have been a whole different ball game, man. These guys, this is what they do, and this is who they are. Their lives, to us, remain a mystery. You guys want to comment on that?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'd say so.
But your life's not a mystery to you.
Yeah, no, not at all.
That's a very fair assessment. I think it's very accurate.
Yeah, really not mysterious. I try and wear most of my thoughts, feelings, and everything else on my sleeve and be open with everyone. So,
like I was telling you the other day, I do my best not to take it for granted, but I kind of jokingly say that all I can do is make eggs and I can make music, and I can do both at the same time, But and so I'm fortunate for what I can do well, and everybody I feel in this life really has something or some things that they excel at, and really should find something to do to exploit that and help other people and really help their own spirit.
Or might you say, Michael, that they should explore their vision?
I believe they should, and in the past tense, they would have vision explored.
In the present tense, it would be vision explored.
I've got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So throughout you guys are musicians, and Mark speaks very highly. You guys that you put your craft forward. You guys are very intelligent guys. What role, seeing as this is a cinema show, what role has movies played in the formative experiences of your lives? And would you say that there's any collusion, because there usually is, between film and music, where there's and I always love asking musicians, we seem to have more music people on the show than we do film people at times. It goes through these waves. And I love that wave has been continuing, because it's been a very music-heavy summer for me. I've been reading a lot about music, listening to a lot of music, contemporary and older. So it's always great to have musicians and people that are exploring that, all sorts of wavelengths, whether it's creating or exploring as well. But what if there's some music films that you would say had an effect on you, whether it's the score of the film or the soundtrack of that film or a use of music in a piece of film, something like that, something related to cinema, and or if there's something musically related to it. Doesn't have to either, but a real formative and real important cinematic experience.
I would say there's two music documentaries that are directed by two great, very well-known directors. One would be The Last Waltz, which was directed by Scorsese.
Choice. Nice.
And then my other one that I would say is Stop Making Sense, which was the Talking Heads film, directed by Jonathan Demme. Those two, probably, in terms of actual... I love live music in concert, so I'm biased with that. I think Michael can probably take it in terms of in films.
Right, so in actual score, I'm...
better get that.
I'm very much a fan of music concerts, and obviously being a musician, or what I like to call a sonic magician, I very much appreciate documents of live performances. That being said, there are just some films that the music moves you so much without saying a word, without even moving a shot, that we're all emotional people. I don't know if I'm more emotional than the next guy around, but something, and these Best Picture winners are sticking in my head. So something like Gone with the Wind, where there's plenty to look
Max
at.
Steiner?
Yes, Max Steiner, and just the sweeping score. It's just such a simple melody, and a lot of these great tunes that we've known for hundreds of years, even, and in this case, going on 80 years, is a very simple tune, but put together in a way where fits the scene so well, and your emotions go with that. There are some obvious choices like Psycho or Jaws, where Bernard Herrmann or John Williams, respectively, are giving you this very intense dissonance and something moving with the motion, and very scary and horror. However, one that we just talked about was Ordinary People, and oddly enough, when I'm watching this film, they use Pachelbel's canon, and as well as Kramer versus Kramer uses Vivaldi. But especially with Ordinary People, for me, I really felt that when they use this music, the canon of Pachelbel, it's found music, it's public domain. People have heard it before at every other wedding, but it just brings you even more so into the emotion of these characters. And whether I think it should have won Best Picture that year or not, it's still, at least that brings me to the point of just how music is so powerful. And again, I call the musician the magician, because you can really influence how people feel just by playing a note or changing a subtle chord. And it really does move me. And then the other thing is just musicals, which are very much a part of my life. And West Side Story tops the list for me as far as the intricacies of the music that Leonard Bernstein has, but the choreography that goes with it. Because dance, to me, even though I've never considered myself a dancer, is really the most beautiful music that you could watch. The movement of bodies. So long-winded, as I usually am.
No,
that's actually beautiful. But could you play something so we can get back to you, so it's not that tail end stuff, even though, and I will turn your synthesizer up.
Sure.
So you guys, you're pretty down to play?
Yes.
Up. I was thinking,
what were you thinking?
If we have time, we could play the one track that was for the video that we did today. Maybe start with that, and then we'll do...
you mean off this?
Or Computer Anywhere.
Okay.
If possible.
So how do you... I'm going to play it... Okay, you sent it to me.
Yeah, I sent you the link.
Okay, so... But that's on my phone. So... You'd like to play that first?
Yeah, if possible.
Okay. So, which is going to be interesting, because that is on SoundCloud here, and I can go to Vision Explorer, right?
Yep, Vision Explored Music.
Vision Explorer Music, and you hear our man playing the wind instrument, and the song is
Kind Crime.
You got, let's see, what's it called, my man?
Kind Crime.
Kind Crime. And actually, you know what, can we get an expert up on stage? Sarah Louie.
It was Koji Kondo.
If in the meantime, while Sarah Lou's setting that up, if you wanted to elaborate a little bit on West Side Story, because I'm glad you brought that up. West Side Story is a film that is often cited, but at the same time, there's qualities of it that are not cited enough for how well executed and expressionist and really daringly avant-garde elements of the dance in that film, in interpretation of emotion, of feelings, of plot, of storytelling.
Absolutely.
And, it's just, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like West Side Story. There is no musical, and it's not my favorite musical. I oddly enough, wouldn't even put it in my top 10, but I think that it stands aside from all other musicals as a singular work of art that's almost unparalleled in the realm of musicals.
Right. I have to agree there. However, West Side Story probably is in my top 10 musical films,
Sure.
but I respect how you feel about it. I really feel in that film, at least the choreography and the dancing, so much of the magic is Jerome Robbins. And he was the choreographer on the picture. And yes, it was cut together so well. And I like the way you had said that the execution of some of these dances and interpretations and impressions really do just become so much larger than life. And you can perceive so much out of it and really get a lot of emotion.
Okay.
From just a move.
Thank you, Michael. And
Yes,
actually, we can play this You want to play this? Yeah. This is called Kind Crime. This is from Vision Explorer. This is the video we've shot for the last few days.
Keep cool, boy.
Let's see if it works. So cool, very cool, and I I'm just going to turn that there. Yes, so I actually dig that piece. You guys did a swell job. Gabe, you agree?
I wasn't able to hear any of it, but
no!
It's.
I'm sorry, my man. You would have been meditating like heck.
Oh, it's okay. I just didn't. In case my mic was still up, I didn't want to.
Yeah, I understand.
Over the air.
You remained with the highest level of respect that one could, and we thank you for it.
Yep.
They're going to actually
check it out after
they're going to
show.
actually close us out with a beautiful, nice live tune. I got my man on the keyboards and my other man with the Martin guitar. And Gabe, do you want to ask these guys in the waning few minutes live conversation about anything about the mystery of their lives?
Well, I think they did a pretty good job of clearing up any mystery, which I think that's the only thing cooler than I think a mysterious artist is an unmysterious artist. So
your mics are back up, guys.
Thanks. Cool.
Interesting stuff, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabe.
I was sitting here in silence for like 5 minutes, and was just sort of having this like really calm, meditative moment when I'm watching the people come and go in the parking lot, and I'm wondering what does the music sound like. But it's like a trailer that has nothing in it, but it's like here's the film, but then there's no trailer, and it's like you did the
best with what you had. It sounds like
that's right.
So anyway, I eagerly look forward to checking out the track after the show. Thanks. And thank you guys for coming on, and thank you for performing live, offering a track. I really appreciate it. Appreciate your commentary on all things music and film. Super cool stuff.
And it's called Kind Crime, so look that up, Gabe, because you're a man of the internet. So doing something like that, man, is like flipping a coin to you. Ain't that right?
Abs, I couldn't agree more.
I'm looking at the time. Gabe, thanks a million, my man, and God bless you.
Absolutely. Ben, Michael, correcting the names?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Gabe.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
We'll see you. Bye.
Thanks for everything, Gabe. We'll see you shortly. Okay, guys, how long is this tune?
We can do a shortened version of it.
We can do it in less than 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not laughing.
No,
I'm looking at the clock. It says 1952.
Right.
Yeah, we got time.
Less than 7.5. I do need keyboard sound, though. Please.
Okay, here you go.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the first song that I actually ever wrote for this band collective project, and it's not on our upcoming album. It's going to go on the second one. A lot of our music has to do with collaboration with tons of different artists, and for the next one, the artist that I wanted for this specific song will be available, so that'll go on number 2, but it's called Be the Light.
And thank you for the intro, but I have to get serious. What do you think is the running time of the song?
We'll do a shortened with 3 minutes.
Okay, yeah, because when my man said a shortened version at 7.5 minutes.
Oh no, I was saying I saw that there was only 7.5 minutes left.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah,
7 now.
Yeah, so because I know how to handle myself, man. So please proceed, gentlemen.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just killing a little bit of airtime. Thanks, listeners, for listening in. We probably will say a goodbye. I do have to read the manifesto at the end. So if you hear the song fade down, there's a reason for the season. Oh, man. Yeah, just keep with your identity, people. Don't let other people walk over you, man, for sure, man. It's your time. I think I'm going to go out to eat with these dudes, man. I cannot wait. I am so hungry, man. It's production food. I am so happy about that.
Oh, we're going to get you fed.
Okay, my man. Yes, it's been a long day. What's up, Sandy? Hey, look at these guys.
Let's do it.
They do the same thing you do, music.
Beautiful. What do you play? Beautiful.
You ready, Michael?
Yes, we're good.
Wow, dudes, good stuff, man. I really like that. You know that? I really do. It's the
Thanks, Mark.
antithesis of annoying. Yeah, no, for real. It could go the other way. So what you boys done good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, I really dig that. I really like that. Of course, I'm watching you play the guitar. You know, your chords, your D, your A minor, etc. And watching it all happen.
Modulated up a whole step because of the capo.
Yep.
There you go. And you did great. Obviously, Michael as well on the wood instrument. Is that the clarinet?
Yes, clarinet and a Casio keyboard, in-house Casio.
Yes. Yeah. So, usually we have digital clocks here, and I don't know where they went.
Right up here.
Okay, what does it say?
1958 and 41 seconds at the tone. Boom.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. What is it? What does it say?
1958 or 758.
Yeah, 7:58. 7:58 right now.
Oh, okay. Tell me when it's 7:59.
I will.
Cool.
It
Thank
happens now.
Right now.
Right now?
Yep.
Yes.
Michael and Ben, Vision Explorer, thank you. We will be on at the same time next week on WXRWLP 104.1 FM, Milwaukee. To hear past episodes, visit riverwestradio.com/shows and click Cinema Fireside.